Hello everybody and welcome to the What's the Quack podcast. I am your host, of course, Sergeant Ducky. And in today's episode, I'll be joined by myself. Yeah, that's right, you have me all to your lonesome. How intimate is this? As to why, well, usually when I get a guest on the podcast, I'll put out a little announcement and ask you guys for any questions or topics that you want me or the guest to talk about. And a lot of them questions tend to be aimed directly at me, so I thought, fuck it, I'll just do a podcast with just me and you, so I can get around to some of them questions and just talk about myself or the channel in general. So yeah, I hope you're all doing well. I'm doing rather shit because my morning got off to a very fucking bad start. I know I did a whole thing bitching about YouTube when I had cynical reviews on, but my morning just got worse because of YouTube. I woke up this morning and I don't know if you guys seen the video Living with a Woman Part 2 that I uploaded probably a while back by the time I published this, but whatever. And I woke up and it was demonetized. And I thought, well, shit, the YouTube robots have probably picked up on the fact that I mentioned fascist or Hitler or something in it a couple of times, and, you know, they flagged that. That was complete organic, by the way. I wasn't actually planning on doing that. So just assuming it was a kind of a misreport on YouTube side of things, I decided to go in and just check the YouTube studio, because I now have the ability to see why the video got demonetized because of I think it's the size of my channel, but whatever. So I checked it and it said it was demonetized for profanity. Strong profanity was the description given. Now, as a lot of you know, I censor all the swear words and profanities in my video, so I found this rather peculiar. So I reached out to the support team with YouTube, hit them up, and I asked them what happened to the video, that all my profanities are censored. I shouldn't have lost my ads in the video because of this. And basically they got back to me and said, even if your profanities are censored, you can get demonetized for it. Yeah, that's so unbelievably fucking stupid. Even if you censor your profanities, there's fuck all you can do. So yeah, that's how my morning's going. Yeah, oh god, fuck's sake. YouTube is just an absolute joke lately. It's just so annoying, because if you swear or use profanities, you get demonetized. If you censor those profanities in order to, you know, skirt around the rules, or at least be a little bit less harsh to the YouTube audience, you get demonetized. If you don't use profanities, you run the risk of being flagged as COPPA, Children Online Protection Act. You run the risk of having your video flagged as it's for kids, which you won't get ads on either. So there's this weird fucking pubic hair of a line that you have to live on when you're on YouTube in order to be able to make any bit of a fucking living off it, which is, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I know it's a fucking first world problem. Realistically, I have it better than most, but it doesn't take away from how fucking frustrating that is. Like, I spent, maybe a little over 2 weeks working on that video, and I was so happy with how it turned out. And I still am very happy with how it turned out. But because it got demonetized, I've made less money on that video than what I would have had I just worked 2 weeks in fucking retail. So yeah, it's really fucking disheartening. But anyway, on a lighter note, I just wanted to answer some of you guys' questions that you've asked. I'll cheer the fuck up as the podcast goes on. It's just that's still fresh in my mind, and yeah, it's bugging the shit out of me. And I'll cheer the fuck up. Just never mind me just having one of them fucking days. So let me see what you guys want to know about this big old duck right here. Right, I got a rather appropriate question from Blessing Live, who says, Ducky, as somebody who's been making content for a long time, I'm going to assume you've been through a bit of burnout. Do you know anything that may delay or prevent that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, following my little fucking tirade, that's quite funny. But, yeah, no, I absolutely get burnout every now and again. A lot of you guys don't realise it because my upload schedules, I upload every 2 or 3 weeks, so, you know, if I do experience some level of burnout, I've given myself time in between to get away. But therein lies the key. Listen to your body, listen to your brain. If you're experiencing burnout from doing anything, not just YouTube, but like, be it fucking studying or your job even, yeah, step away from it. There's no cure for burnout if you're just going to keep doing the same thing over and over. It's like hanging out with a friend. You know, it's great hanging out with your mate, but if you were to hang out with them for every minute of every day for 3 weeks straight, it's going to become fucking insufferable. You need time to unplug, step back, take perspective. Or for no other reason than just to allow your mind to focus on other things. You know, I feel like when you're doing the one thing for too long, it's like repeating a word over and over. Eventually, your brain just kind of gets exhausted from it. So yeah, absolutely. There's no substitute for just stepping away, unplugging, you know, do something else. For me, I like to go away for a couple of nights with the missus to a hotel, or, you know, see some touristy sites around Ireland or whatever. And since we can't really do that now, I'll just step away from the computer. Maybe I'll binge watch a series or something like that. But yet, there's no substitute for just backing away, you know, and be healthy, look after yourself. Ultimately, you don't want what you're doing to become a chore. That's what it'll start to feel like if you're experiencing some burnout and you don't step away from it. You'll find yourself not wanting to do it, and that's probably the worst thing in the world, especially if it's for something you normally really enjoy doing. So yeah, absolutely, just step away, give yourself as long as you need. When it comes to YouTube, I know people will wait. Ultimately, you know, if they're fans of the channel, fans of the content, they will come back. They don't mind waiting a couple of extra weeks, especially if it means that I'm going to be in a good mental space where I can keep making at least what I perceive as decent or entertaining videos. And if I'm experiencing a lot of burnout and I'm trying to grind through that, the videos will suffer, and, you know, that will ultimately hurt me worse than just taking a short break. So I hope that answers your question. Matty V560 asks, this is a very important question. In the video where I got absolutely smashed, you spoke about your brother that works as a security guard. Can you tell other people who are interested about your brother and siblings? Yeah, I can. Yeah, a few people have actually asked me this question. Basically asked me about my older brother and my siblings, kind of my family in general. Yeah, so I have 2 brothers and a sister. My older brother, which I talked about in the video about the first time I got absolutely smashed off my tits drunk. He's 5 years older than me. He used to work as a security guard. He works as a truck driver now because apparently that's all you can do when you're a big man. He also he enjoys cycling. He's a family man. He's 2 kids. That's pretty much the highlights of him. I have a younger brother who's works as a barman. He loves, you know, football, car culture. He also is a family man, has 2 kids. And the youngest of us all is my younger sister, which goes for her as well as you would expect, having 3 older brothers when it comes to like boyfriends and stuff. But yeah, no, she's about 25 now. God, it's fair bad. I don't know my own sister's age. She's about 25 now, but yeah, so that's kind of a family situation. Younger sister, she works as she cares for people with disabilities, and she's also big into her car culture as well. She's a little girl racer. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to kind of say. And then I would like, yeah, for now, that's all I can really say about him without kind of fucking compromising my identity in some way. Son of Merv 1 asks, what's it like missing out on Gay Tuesday during the whole COVID bollocks? No, it's been difficult. We've had to find ways around it. So the way we work around a good Gay Tuesday is I'll travel down to Cork where PJ lives, and you know, I'll ring him beforehand, let him know I'm coming. And what I do is I get the lad out and I put it through the letterbox, and they can have at it from the other side. That's the only way we can kind of do it and stay safe. Granted, it's not 100% safe, but you know, we're taking the necessary precautions. It does look very strange when people walk past you on the street and you're, you know, standing at the front door with your man bag gone through the letterbox. But yeah, no, you do what you can. You be inventive, you know. And the following week, the boys will travel up to me and they'll do the same in my letterbox, and we kind of, you know, it's kind of tit for tat in that regard. But you do what you can. You know, sometimes if we can't meet up, we'll just send each other nudes and just get us by. But yeah, that's how you do it. Just be creative, but also be safe. Father Badger asks, have you ever thought for writing comedy for cinema, TV or other media? As a note, I think you'd be really great at it. Oh, well, thanks very much. No, believe it or not, I hate writing. I really do. I find it really, really hard to sit down there and start writing. I'm aware I can bang out a good script or make good jokes for, you know, so my audience would dictate. But no, sitting there, I've always hated writing, even in school. You know, when the teachers ask you to like write essays, and you know, I pretty much never did homework as a result of this. Like, it's just, if I could hire somebody to sit down with a fucking computer, I was going to say a typewriter. If I had hire somebody to sit at a computer and I'll just fucking think out loud and leave them, you know, natter away there on all the keys, that'd be A1. That would suit me down to the ground. Maybe it's just the act of typing I hate. Maybe, yeah, I'll put it down to the act of typing I hate. But yeah, no, I started off on YouTube originally, even before my failed gaming channel that nobody ever knows about. But even before that, I started off with PJ doing short films and comedy skits, actually filming them, like proper cameras, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, no, it was really fun. But the problem was when you're working with so many people and there's so many moving parts, it's hard, really, really fucking hard to get everybody on the same page and organised. And you know, when you're good to go, somebody else may not be good to go, and it just draws something that should only take a couple of days into something that goes on for months, and then eventually everybody loses interest and that. So yeah, it's just really difficult. Maybe I'd consider that, but maybe I consider writing for like a TV or movie and stuff like that. But right now, I still feel like I'm holding my craft. You know, I feel like I've come a long way in the last 3 or 4 years on YouTube in terms of like my writing, my delivery, my flow, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't feel like I'd be good enough for that level, but yeah, who knows? Who knows what the future might hold? We'll see. Andrea Z asks, is your banana green too? Dumb question over. What's your celebrity crush? Yes, it is green, unfortunately. It's a condition. My celebrity crushes really haven't changed in the last few years. Like I don't really, maybe it's just a byproduct of getting old, but I don't really get that wow factor much anymore when I'm like watching a movie and see somebody new or interesting on the screen. You know, when you're sitting back, you're like, ooh, who the fuck is that? Wow. It doesn't really happen to me anymore. Like my usual suspects are someone like Jessica Negri. She's like a cosplayer or something like that. But yeah, no, you one glance at her and you know exactly why she appeals to the heterosexual men. Elizabeth Hurley, but that's just because I basically fell in love with her after watching the movie Bedazzled with Brendan Fraser way back in the day, and she was wearing this like fucking leather latex fucking red bodysuit and that with heels, and I thought, fuck me, that may be one of my earlier horns in life. But then I found her again on like Instagram 6 months ago or so, and she's still fucking cracking, unbelievable. So geez, hats off to her for looking so well. Who else? Karen Gillan's not bad in the eyes either. That's the redhead from that movie Jumanji, if some of you don't know. But yeah, no, it's hard to say. Man, and surely I can think of one more. Fuck me, I'm like a randy fucker the most of the time. Why can't I think of something? Oh, I got one. Natalie Dormer. Yeah, she played Marjorie Tyrell in Game of Thrones. She is a very, very pretty girl. And that's about as much as I can say to her without fucking, you know, going all out and flipping the table in some sort of testosterone fueled rage. I hope that answer is sufficient for you. Let's see if we can find another question here. Aileen CB asks, do you ever experience periods of time where you lack motivation or energy to do work towards any of your goals, or just adopt the whole what's the point mentality? And if so, what do you do to snap yourself out of it and get back on track? P.S. I'm glad I recently found your videos. It's really brought back some much needed laughter into my day to day. Well, thanks very much. I'm glad. That's pretty much priority number one. Make people laugh. Make people forget about their problems for 5 to 10 minutes if I can. If that's all I can give the world in this short time I'm on it, then I'm happy. A lot of shit goes on in this world. A lot of horrible shit. And you're going to get a lot of fucking horrible days. If I can make you chuckle even when you're experiencing one of them, then I feel like I'll put some fucking good into the world. As for your question, yeah, it's similar to burnout. Sometimes I do lack motivation and energy. I was talking to PJ about this the other day, but I just got this like burst of lack of motivation. Just hit with this laziness. Well, I felt like laziness, but it was just, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to make a video. I didn't want to be writing anything, and I knew it was temporary. I just, you get waves of it. Willpower is not a sustainable resource. You run out of it, and you need to give it time to kind of come back and refuel again. So it's finite, is what it is. But yeah, I went through this the other day, and the quote that popped into my head, funnily enough, was there's a quote from, it was Batman: The Dark Knight. It was Bane, and he's beating the shit out of Batman, like knocking the fucking snot out of him. And he says to Batman, he said, "Peace has cost you your strength. Victory has defeated you." The reason why I was thinking that is because I'm kind of nowadays, I'm viewing my channel as quite successful. I've over 100,000 viewers, I've over 100,000 subscribers on my channel, so there's no real question. It is a little bit of a success in that regard. And because of that, I'm now making a living that I'm comfortable with. Granted, I'm not buying a mansion or fucking flashing new cars anytime soon, but I'm covering my bills and I have money for drink or the occasional night away or, kind of stuff like that. And I feel like in a way that kind of comfort has kind of ruined my drive, or that's the way I was feeling anyway. I felt like that comfort had somewhat ruined my drive a small bit, in a sense that when I was working in retail and I was very unhappy, like borderline depressed, if not so. I had that drive I had a good motivation to pursue YouTube, because I didn't want to spend the rest of my fucking life dealing with cunt customers in public. And that was a fantastic motivation. I used to work 40-hour weeks in retail and come home in the evenings and work on videos. It was just pretty much non-stop. And I never felt too hard done by. I never felt like I was overworked or anything like that because I was pursuing something. I had a goal, I had an end game. I need to get the fuck out of retail, and I have this career that I want to pursue. I like making videos. That's the thing I've finally honed in on after 20 odd something years on this planet. This is something I've found I've really enjoyed. So I want to get rid of retail, put that in my mirror and pursue this. And that was a fantastic motivator for making videos. Absolutely. I always had that hanging over me. It's if I can make this work, I get to leave retail. But the worry I had that popped into my head the other day is I don't have that motivation anymore. I'm already doing okay on YouTube. I have achieved moderate success, and I don't have anything that kind of push me. I don't have that fear of my life being ruined. Victory has defeated me in the way that's what was going through my head at the time. Now, but looking back on that now, that's actually not what was happening. But it's something I will always fear. I will fear that complacency will defeat me, just kind of feeling like I've already accomplished my goals. Where the fuck do I go from here? But after sitting on it for a while, I realised that I just need to set myself new goals, and I need to set myself new things to strive for, and new things that I want to go after, not just a bigger number on YouTube or a better financial situation or whatever the case may be. I just need to set myself new goals, something that I will want and I will crave. And the thing that popped into my head was, and it's something I've always thought about doing but never had the ability to do, was basically open an animal shelter, like an animal rescue, be it cats or dogs or whatever. I've always wanted to open one, and I've always cared very much so for animals. And I think it's bullshit how a lot of them get treated a lot of the time. It's so unbelievably bad how often dogs and cats and pets in general just get abandoned. Some even by the side of the road. Like Connie works in a vet's. She's a vet assistant, not a vet itself, but she sees it all. People come in with dogs and cats and everything, puppies, boxes of puppies that have been fucking abandoned in a ditch by some heartless, cretinous fucking bastard. Just dump a box of puppies in a ditch in the middle of the countryside, only to be found by fucking chance. I think that's fucking horrible. And in an ideal world, I would, rather than open an animal shelter, I'd hire a team of fucking assassins, and they will track down the cunts doing this and have them killed outright. No trial, no fucking judge, jury, just an executioner. Fuck them. But what I was thinking I could do, and ultimately this is going to be my new end game, is just keep pursuing YouTube. I enjoy that. I love doing it. Just keep doing that. And if the channel blows up even more, my financial situation improves massively, then reinvest that money into an animal shelter so I can do something else that I would feel very strongly about, and put some good back into the world. And then I can both be a YouTuber and spend all my other free time petting and doting over abandoned pets, and that would be great. So yeah, ultimately that's my new end game. Really long-winded answer to your question, but yeah, what you do is, if you're lacking motivation, set yourself new goals, or remind yourself why you're doing the thing you're doing. Or if it's just a case of burnout, step away. IrishGamer625 asks, when starting out, did you have any concerns about whether or not people would understand your accent? I'm from Antrim, and I've been wanting to start a channel, but I feel like I may not be able to be understood properly by people. That might lead to no one viewing. And he continues to say other things, but that's the main crux of his question. Yeah, I certainly did have concerns with that, because an Irish accent can be very strong indeed at times, and you don't realise it yourself. Like me being from Tipperary, I think I have I have a more neutral accent in terms of the country goes, kind of a relatively easy to understand accent, but even so, to an outside untrained ear, it can be very difficult, especially with the fucking speed I talk sometimes. I don't even realise how fast I'm talking. But it can be very difficult, and I do what I can. When I'm doing my videos, you'll probably hear the difference when I'm in a podcast talking to somebody I know who's also Irish compared to when I'm in a video. When I'm talking to somebody like PJ or Connie, my accent kind of shows its ugly face a bit more. I become that little bit harder to understand. And that's because, my audience is people from all over the world. Do what you can to kind of clean up your accent. Don't Americanize it. That's one thing, and I find myself having to keep stopping doing. Replacing certain words, garage with garage, or footpath with sidewalk, or whatever. That's when people typically have a problem, especially Irish people. If you try to clean up your accent too much, Irish people will take issue with that. So just try not to Americanize your accent too more. Just speak clear. Just speak clearly. That's the main thing I'd say to take away from this. I wasn't too concerned about it up until the point I gave PJ's channel Just a Tip. I gave that a shout out, And a lot of my American viewers, or even just people outside of Ireland, a lot of my international viewers went to his video, and it was a fair few comments saying that people saying that they can't understand the word they were saying in the video. Now, granted, PJ's videos are very heavily Irish accent orientated, but it was just something to bear in mind. If you can clean up your accent slightly, don't overdo it. Just speak clearly. Most people won't have a problem with it. It just made me think. I remember when I first started making videos, and I thought I had my accent very clean, very crisp, easy to understand. I thought I had it pretty much down pat. And one of the girls who, actually a mod on my Discord server, she volunteered to do the subtitles for me. She decided to volunteer to write them up, so there'd be closed captioning and there wouldn't be any issues there. I love when I whistle when I talk. But so she started doing that, but then she'd send me back the script. Now, I normally didn't have any problem talking to her, like in voice calls and stuff, but she sent me back her interpretation of what I said, and she was like 95% right, but then certain words were just completely wrong. It wasn't her fault. I won't blame her for it. It was just because the way I was saying particular words, it was difficult to pick up on. So yeah, it's definitely a kind of something just to keep in mind when you're recording your videos. Be clear as you can, because ultimately you want everybody to be able to understand you. So do that. Glaswegian Rangers asks, would you prefer to date an Irish, Scottish, Welsh or English woman? P.S. I am Scottish, make your decision wisely. That's a fucking threat. God, I don't know, I've already dated my fair share of Irish women. So that's the thing, when you're dating somebody from your own culture, the accent is not going to do it from you, or it's not going to do it for you because you're used to hearing it. It's not going to be special or exotic. I think out of that list, if I had to pick one to top the charts, I would definitely say Scottish, and I'm not even being biased because you're threatening me. I do love a girl who's got that, strong Scottish accent. I don't know what it is, it's just unfamiliar on the ear. I just think, be a nice sound to hear in bed. Second to that, I would say a chavvy English accent. That real fucking Londoner chav on a girl now, mind you. I bet it's not nearly as attractive on fellas, but just that real filthy fucking slaggy old accent. I don't know why, but it just appeals to the fucking caveman in me. Third place, I would probably go posh English. Yeah, posh English can be nice there. Very naughty. Welsh didn't really come on. I don't talk to many Welsh girls, if any, to be honest. I'm sure if I heard them talk a lot more, I probably would take a liking to it, because it's strange to the ear. I'm just gonna take a sip of my coffee here. That's what's keeping me going. I was kind of under the illusion that maybe if I pumped myself full of caffeine, that it might cheer me up from the miserable morning I had. There may be science to it. I very much doubt there is. The Horn Bearer asks, why do you wear pants in your thumbnails but not in your animations? Is this to avoid demonetization, or are you just inconsistent? I don't know. That's something I've actually thought about myself, because it's not me that does the thumbnails. It's a lovely girl called Skumpkin who does some wonderful art for all my thumbnails. You'll notice the drastic difference if you look back on my channel, pretty much where she started. But if I was a betting man, I would probably have to say it's so she doesn't have to draw Ducky's cock hanging out on a thumbnail. Just makes it that bit more kind of advertiser friendly in a way. I don't know, it's probably just easier to draw Ducky with pants and no shirt on than, shirt and no pants on, or a hoodie with no pants on in this case. That'd be my guess. For that particular video you're referencing in the comment there, the Living with a Woman Part 2, I think that's just kind of her idea of what I wear in bed, which would be just like boxers and no shirt on, which, in an ideal world I'll be completely in the nip, but you always have that fear that you're going to be raped by ghosts. People don't talk about it, but that's a legitimate fear. You don't want to wake up there and be fucking getting absolutely shafted by fucking Casper there, and he giving it socks, fucking grabbing you by the arms and just fucking having at it, dirty bastard. Despite any comments, I'll just trail off into my own fucking train of thought, and I'll just vomit out whatever garbage is on my mind. Adam Liam 14 asks, how did you meet PJ and Hef, and what made the three you decide to live together? PJ I met through a friend when I was back in school. I've known PJ about 15 years or so at this stage. Hef was actually a similar situation, again through a friend, but again we're all in school. I think Hef and PJ were actually a year above me in school. I'm the babby in the group by 8 months or so. But I met them in school. As far as living together, it was myself and PJ were working in the same town, but we weren't living in the same town. We were living at our home houses, but two of us were living in the same town, and we got to talking. We was like, fuck, why not just get a house together, share a house together, so in the town we're both working in, it just makes a lot more sense. So we were looking around and we found a house that two of us could happily move into. But it was a 3-bedroom, so it was mean it was going to be that little bit more expensive if it was just the two of us sharing. The day we had viewed the house, we just so happened to bump into Hef, who was also in the same town we were in. We bumped into him in that town. We got talking to him. It turned out that he had literally just come from a job interview in that town, was looking basically to get a job in the town. We said to him, listen lad, if you get that job, hit us up, because we're looking at a gaff that has 3 bedrooms. You can move in with us. All 3 of us will be working in the same town then. A1. So a couple of days goes by, Hef gives us a ring saying, yeah, would you believe him after getting a job in there? So all 3 of us worked in the same town and we're looking at a 3-bedroom house. So we all just moved in together, and the rest is history. B asks, have you ever thought about streaming? I feel like you'd be a natural at it. I really have actually, yeah. I've thought about it a lot. It's just one of them things that I keep thinking about. I really should do, but I just don't. I procrastinate on it. It's just, I don't know. It's a little bit intimidating. Like it's one thing when you're making a video, you're writing a script, you can edit yourself down into the kind of the funniest version or the best version of yourself. And you're editing the video side of things, which help with the jokes, enhance everything. But when you're live, it's really kind of daunting. The thought of you're going to have thousands of people watching you, and you have to try keep thousands of people entertained in a way with whatever you're doing. And I'm not confident in my kind of off the cuff humor, and I'm not confident in my kind of improv and stuff like that. I don't know. I just feel like if people realize how much of a boring cunt I am off the camera and off the channel, they probably wouldn't stick around for too long. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm just fucking a bit thinking into it too much. I'm probably just being a pussy. But yeah, no. One thing I was definitely thinking about doing, and I probably mentioned, it depends when these come out because I'm kind of recording these out of order, but I was talking to PJ on a podcast about doing a live stream with him playing Halo on legendary difficulty, because me and him have actually just recently passed it on regular difficulty, and we just thought how funny would it be just to have the two of us on playing Halo. But yeah, no, I definitely think about it, but it's just it's intimidating. It doesn't matter what size you are or how kind of in the public eye you are. It's still intimidating to kind of put yourself in front of a crowd live anyway. When stuff is pre-recorded, as I was saying, you can filter yourself, you can change yourself, you can edit yourself. You can't do that when you're live. So yeah, I'm not afraid that I might say something that will get me in trouble or anything, nothing like that. I just find it really intimidating doing with a lot of people, especially when you have like people donating and asking questions and everything like that, and getting on top of you, especially if you're playing a game. I've spent my whole life playing video games, not talking to anyone. If there's somebody even sitting over my shoulder when I'm gaming, I get annoyed by that because I just can't focus on the game properly. So to try and play a game and engage with the audience, which engaging with the audience is, I feel, is the most important thing. It's like a case of juggling, but yeah, I don't know. Look, I'll tell you what, lads, if you comment on this, if you're watching, or if you're listening to this on YouTube, comment underneath, tell me, would you like to see some streams? Be honest, do you think I'd be piss poor at them, or do you think I'd be okay with them? Or, even if you think I'd be good at them, what would you like to see me play or do? Let me know below. Or, go find this video on YouTube if you're listening on Spotify and comment there. I don't know, you do what you want, be your own man or woman. Don't let me tell you what to do. You're a strong, independent person. Dave Bob asks, another question about the brother. Oi, Ducky, how come you don't have more stories with your older brother? I do have older stories with my older brother. There's one or two that kind of come to mind. If I'm just to be honest and blunt about why I don't really do them or don't really do them right now, it's the long and short of it is my mother passed away like 2 years ago, and a lot of these stories would involve her, and it's still a little bit raw, I won't lie. So yeah, I'm not kind of comfortable yet making stories that kind of even just mention her. It's just, I just wouldn't be comfortable kind of doing stories where she's involved, because it's kind of, that wound is still a little bit there. So I'll give it more time. I will eventually, but just for now, I kind of want to stick with kind of the lads and the girlfriend, and happier subjects in my own mind, having to constantly think about my mother while I'm making the videos and stuff. Yeah, it can make it difficult at times. Daniel Butchman asks, have you travelled to some parts of the world? If not, do you plan to? If yes, where and how was the experience? And what do you think about hiking, since you kind of seem like a guy who never exits the house? I've actually not travelled all that much. All the travelling that I've done is only in the last few years, and that's thanks primarily to Connie, who who is my perfect opposite in a way, where she's a lot more outgoing in that area than I am, so she drags me out of the house. But yeah, no, we went to Tenerife it's I think it's owned by Spain, but it's off the coast of Africa. So we went to Tenerife and we went to Prague in the Czech Republic. Both of them were absolutely lovely, but if I had to pick one over the other, I'd say I enjoy Prague more because they encourage you to drink beer all the time. It's fantastic. And it's the city of Prague is absolutely beautiful. Every single photo you take is a postcard. It's crazy. As for if I plan travelling more, yeah, when this whole fucking pandemic and painful isolation goes away, absolutely, yeah. One of the big things I want to do is after talking about cynical reviews in the last podcast is I'd love to go to like VidCon or one of them kind of events. Just kind of soak in the YouTube atmosphere and all that. Yeah, I'd just love to go to something like that. Other than that, yeah, obviously I'd love to travel. I think like if I could go anywhere in the morning on a whim, where I'd go would probably be Japan. I've always wanted to go to Japan. Actually, Connie's always wanted to go to Japan too. It'll be like our next big holiday, assuming the world doesn't end before the year does. Always love Japan. I love the culture. I love the atmosphere. Japanese people are crazy. You see the shit they do over there. They have like mental casinos. I heard stories they sell porn stars, knickers in vending machines. Used, mind you, I'll add. They have love hotels. They make all the best anime. And Japanese women are pretty fucking hot too. Yeah, why did like all my takes revolve around sex there? Oh god, I really am a hornball. There's one thing I fear. I fear that like given my penchant for sex and sexual thoughts, I'm going to be the fucking worst old man. Oh, like so many women are going to be fucking creeped out by me when I'm like an old man in a chair. Making flirty remarks at him. Oh, Jesus, love, you're looking well there. And fucking by the time I'm old and my fucking ejaculation is dust. Look behind you asks, hey Ducky, I found your channel during the lockdown and it helps me get through it. Could you tell us a story about a crazy night? Oh, sorry, my levels just peaked there. But a crazy night out with you and the boys, like a funny ass moment or times when shit got real, like a fight. I could, but I like to kind of save them stories for future videos. Like you will hear them all eventually. And eventually like 2 or 3 years down the line, I'll be scraping the end of the barrel for stories. So I don't want to out all my stories immediately. But I was told a story. A story isn't mine, but I was told a story by PJ. And the story was he was out one night in Cork and he had this friend who at the time, he's not now anymore, but at the time it was generally a lot of people like this was a homophobe, didn't like gay people, just the whole thought of it was still relatively kind of I was still being accepted into the culture around this time, so I won't hold that against him too much. But he was a bit of a homophobe. I think he was just kind of more weirded out than he was just, had any hate towards him. But so PJ was out one night in Cork and he was at a gay bar. He was at a gay bar because one of our friends is a lesbian and they were hanging out there, so that's where he went. But he went there with his friend. We call him Tony because that's the running team of of my channel. Any friend that does something that I don't particularly want to name, I call him Tony. But so PJ went to this bar with Tony. But the thing is, he never told Tony that it was a gay bar. Tony just assumed it was a normal, regular bar. But the reason why PJ didn't tell him is because he didn't want him to be weirded out or anything. Just go in there because they thought they were only going to be doing a flying visit in and out after a couple of drinks and that'd be it. But no, they ended up staying there for, about an hour or so. But while in there, Tony had vanished. He was off mingling with people and, enjoying conversations and whatnot. Eventually, they were going to leave. PJ found Tony and they left. And as they were walking up the road, I think they were heading towards another pub. PJ asked Tony, how did you find the bar in there? And Tony replied, he's like, yeah, Jesus, Cork is a great little spot. Everybody in there was so friendly. There was like, some of the biker lads in there were buying me drinks and everything. Yeah, it was crazy how friendly they were. And sure, of course, what Tony didn't realise was fellas were basically flirting with him. Buying him drinks. Apparently bikers took a shine to him as well, which was quite funny. He just had these gay lads in leather jackets just chatting him up, which I found fucking hilarious. But yeah, no, they didn't tell him for like about 2 or 3 weeks after that. And when they did tell him, he was like, he fucking freaked. He was like, what? I thought they were trying to fuck me. Ah, Jesus. Why didn't you fucking tell me, you bastards? So yeah, that's a funny little story I could never use in a video, but there you go. Raslin Madness asks, I've seen Grade A on the Rain in the backgrounds of your videos before. Is he a big inspiration to your channel and style of videos you make? Yeah, in a way. For those of you who don't know, Grade A on the Rain is another creator who does kind of ranty videos with very kind of simplistic drawings and stuff like that. But yeah, initially he was. It's such a weird thing to say now, but like he definitely was in the very beginning. I was a big fan of Grade A Underwear when his earlier videos before he got into drama and in my opinion ruined his channel. But he's definitely a big inspiration, because I was driving along in my car one day. We were heading off to do a bit of shopping, me and Connie, and I was complaining about something. I was really annoyed. I can't remember what it was, but as my usual self, I was just going on a big fucking tangent, an absolute rant about it. So Connie turned to me and she said, "You know what? You're so opinionated." And I don't mean that in a bad way. She goes, "But the way you look at things is just the way you do. Or it's just funny the way you look at things." When she said that, it kind of stuck with me. And it was around this time I was actually making gameplay videos on YouTube on a very bad failing gameplay channel. For context, I had about 24 subscribers at its busiest. But it was around that time I was doing that, and I was getting very demotivated because the channel wasn't doing very well, and I didn't really know what to do beyond that. And when she said this to me, something clicked, because around that time I was watching a lot of Grade A Underwear, and I was like, you know what, I am very opinionated. I really am. Like, I'm like, to a fault, I'm opinionated. It works for Grade A Underwear. He goes on, he literally bitches about something for 10 minutes on the internet, and he's an audience for that. Well, bless my cocky heart. I was like, I could go on, I can do even better than that, because his animations are shit. That was my thinking. He was absolutely an inspiration in that regard. I certainly loved his earlier stuff though, but his later stuff, he got into drama and he fucking ruined his channel by just inviting toxic fucking people in to watch his videos. But he was definitely inspiration in that. As far as like my video style, I pretty much lifted that completely. No qualms about it. Lifted that directly from Zero Punctuation, who's a video game reviewer. If you haven't seen him, I highly recommend him. If you think I'm funny, he shits all over me. But I lifted that style directly from him, and over time, I like to think I've made it my own, where I'm not just straight up copying him. I've kind of morphed it into something unique. But that's been my primary two inspirations would be Zero Punctuation and Grade A Underwear. Grade A came back for a couple of months, but now he's gone again. I don't really know what's happening there. But yeah, moving on. Dale Wise asks, "Hey there, Ducky, absolutely love your channel." Oh, thank you very much. Just one question. Is it still possible to buy the Hate Everyone Until Proven Otherwise shirt? Big fan of your channel either way. Thanks. Ricky. Yeah, it is. Believe it or not, yeah, a load of people were looking for me to bring back that shirt, the Hate Everyone Until Proven Otherwise shirt. So I did a couple of months back. If you actually check my merch store right now, it's on sale right there, along with the other ever popular It's Gotta Be Gay Tuesday Somewhere shirt. Somebody I've seen, I was talking to the other day, said they had seen somebody wearing that shirt in, it's like Newbridge Shopping Centre or something like that. And I'm really annoyed that it wasn't me that has seen. I still haven't seen that shirt in a while. I know what I'm going to do if I do. If I see somebody wearing that shirt and they're walking against me, assuming I'm going to be wearing a face mask and everything, I'm just going to walk past him and go, "Nice shirt, lad," and just see if he twigs the voice. That's my plan. I don't know why, but I'd find that hilarious. But if you want to check out any of my merch, by all means, go on my merch store. It's teespring.com/Sergeant Ducky, or you can just click onto my YouTube channel, and it's actually got a little store tab on the YouTube channel. You can check there as well. Melissa Rosks asks, "Hey Ducky, love from Canada. Do you have many female subscribers? I think you should. I've always been told I'm one of the boys when it comes to hanging out with my friends and my husband. I've been told that's a compliment, so I take it as one. What are your thoughts on that?" Missy from Canada. No, I don't actually. Believe it or not, my female subscribers ratio has dropped in the last year or so. When I switched to kind of story videos, my female subscribers kind of fell off a little bit, which leads me to believe that women tend to love listed rants more than they love a good story, which is kind of counterintuitive to what I thought, because God knows they do love a fucking story when they talk. They do love a story. My God, every aspect of that story, whether it's important to the plot or not, is explained to you. You don't understand the pain it is of being a man when like a woman's explaining a story to you and you're like fucking eroding away your molars in the back of your mouth because she's talking about things in the story that have nothing to do with it. Like she could completely omit them from the story and it wouldn't make an absolute pubic hair of a difference. But no, actually, believe it or not, most of the women that are subscribed to me, or at least most of the women I've interacted with that have subscribed to me, or at least a good percentage of them, are lesbians, which is kind of interesting. It's kind of mad. I don't know why I'm proud of that, but yeah. I am for some odd reason. Just in general though, on YouTube, a lot of people on YouTube are fellas. That's just the ratio. I'd say is probably 70% fellas to 30% women and girls on YouTube in general. My ratio is much worse than that. I think it's about 90% men at this stage, 10% women. You know, once I reveal my very handsome face, I hope to fix that ratio some bit. You know, egotistically drinks his coffee. You know, I do actually suspect when I do a face reveal, that'll probably change, but just because women tend to see real people more. Like, you know, if I was a guessing man, I'd say men probably watch more cartoons. They certainly watch more anime, that's for sure. I wonder if there's something to that, maybe some sort of like the human connection, that women are more kind of drawn in by an actual face than they are like a drawn face. Who knows? I feel like I'm talking shit. I am talking shit, aren't I? Absolute fucking effluent. What was the question again? Do I have many female subscribers? No, not really. About 10% of my audience. So maybe 10 to 15,000, 20,000, depends when you watch this or listen to it, whatever. But thank you for the question. Little to no Skilla asks, Pitbull's been banned in the UK despite the fact that if you have a license in England, you can get an elephant. Or hang on, what about using dogs for hunting? It's cruel on both ends. Foxes get ripped open by hordes of dogs and the dogs are treated as tools, not pets. Also, if Ducky subs to me, I'll be the happiest kid in the northeast of England. Also, pet Max and Snoop for me. I won't subscribe to you, but I will in fact pet the dogs on your behalf. I'll do that much for you. I fucking have an absolute hatred towards dangerous dog laws and all this kind of shit, because there's a lot of that in Ireland as well. Like the two dogs I have is Snoop. She's a 15-year-old Staffordshire Bull Terrier, Bulldog Staff, whatever you want to call him. And I have Max, who's a pit bull. And he's what, 8 years old now, something like that. But every time I have to take them on a walk, I have to muzzle him. Particularly Max, because he looks like a pit bull. I know there's no question about it. He looks like a pit bull. Snoop is old and she's kind of put on a bit of weight because of her arthritis and stuff like that. So people don't tend to be too bothered whether or not she's wearing a muzzle. And she's like the fucking friendliest dog in the world as well. I've never seen her fucking show any bit of aggression towards anybody. It's ridiculous how fucking nice she is. But with Max, I have to muzzle him because this is a law in Ireland, not because he's actually aggressive. And when I'm walking Max, the biggest problems I encounter are not Max. Biggest problems I encounter are other people walking their cunt dogs off the lead. Because when they walk their little cunt dogs off the lead, their little cunt dogs don't come running back to them when they call them. Particularly when I turn the corner with my dog and their dog comes charging at Max. Now, of course, Max is going ball-headed because he doesn't like other dogs. I didn't socialise him well, that's fine. That's on me. But he's wearing a muzzle, so he's fucking defenceless. And you got your little fucking Yorkshire Terrier or fucking shitty little collie coming over trying to growl and bite and fucking tear at my dog. My dog's on a lead. My dog's wearing a muzzle. You're not following any of the fucking laws. Your dog's off the lead. Oh, he doesn't need a lead because he's grand. He's good off the lead. No, he's not fucking good off the lead because he's over attacking my dog here. I have to pick my fucking pit bull up off the ground and he still won't fucking... I literally have to kick your dog away. I don't want to be cruel to any animal. I don't want to kick anybody else's dog. I don't want any harm brought to the dog. I don't even blame their dog for this. I'm blaming the owner for this. Keep your fucking dog on a lead when you're walking it. It'd be a very different story if I didn't have a muzzle or a lead on Max when that dog came running over, because I'll be handing you back 7 or 8 different parts of your dog. I'm doing it for your dog's safety and my dog's safety. But if I'm the only one actually concerned about fucking the safety and well-being of the animals here, that's not good enough. There's a guy where I live who keeps walking his little fucking bastard around where I live. He keeps walking around off the lead, and at least 3 times in the last 6 months I've heard 2 dogs attacking each other outside. And I look out the window and sure enough, it's his dog and another person's dog who's on a lead, in a row, and this fella, and he's like shouting at the dog, oh, come back. Dog's not fucking listening to him. The dog is fucking working on instinct here. It's not going to give a fuck what you're shouting at him. Dog's like, no, here's other dog, I must attack, ignore all else. Stupid. I've gone on an absolute rant here. I'll try hone back in the question. No, the whole dangerous dog thing. In my experience now, and I've interacted with a fair few animals, the only time pit bulls and Rottweilers and German Shepherds and Bulldogs, all that kind of stuff, are a risk is if they've been brought up wrong. You know, if they've been trained incorrectly, or any of that. My dogs are absolutely nothing but gentle when it comes to people, even children. My nieces and nephews, always around them, they're never an issue. The worst thing that might happen is the dog might get overexcited and jump on them to try lick their face. But it all comes down to the rearing of them. But in my experience, smaller dogs tend to have a lot more aggression in them. They tend to be, the instigators in a lot of fights and rows that you'll have with dogs. And it's just the idea that you can blanket an entire type of dog with the dangerous dog title and not consider how they're raised whatsoever is ridiculous. Like, I understand that the bigger dogs will do more damage if they're not trained properly, and that's fine. That's why I'm, as much as I don't like the muzzle rule, it's fair enough. But they're just blanketing with a dangerous dog, even though 90% of the time it's the smaller dogs that are the bastards. And I say bastards, I mean the owners who fucking train these small dogs are stone fucking useless. The dogs themselves are not responsible for that. But yeah, I'm not happy with how dangerous dogs think. I seen a sign when I was below in Dingle recently. Myself and Connie were just down there for a few days. No, it wasn't Dingle, it was Cove in Cork. We're down there for a day trip, and I seen a sign, and it was like, these types of dogs are not allowed here, and it was like, Rottweilers, Pit Bulls, and fucking all the rest of the, Dobermans, all these dangerous dogs in quotations. And it's disgusting when you see that, because you can have a Rottweiler or Bulldog or a Pit Bull or anything, and they can be perfectly lovely, trained, and you can have a very responsible owner. But to say that even if your dog was raised right, he's trained right, he has a muzzle, has a lead, even just to say that you can't walk him here because of the breed of dog he is, it's pretty much dog racism if there's such a thing like that. And I don't agree with it. I think it's horseshit. I think it's an archaic fucking rule that needs to be abolished. And people who own dogs of any size or variety should fucking cop on and put the cunts on a lead, so I don't have to kick your dog away from mine. Anyway, next question. Let's jump on over to Twitter and see what we can find. Dr. Gravity over on Twitter asks, how does somebody get good at storytelling, making a simple story fun and interesting to listen to? Is there some sort of secret duck course you can take for it? Not really. One of the biggest keys I find for storytelling anyway is trim the fat. That's one of the main things. Condense the story down into its most necessary requirements. Just don't go off on little. Don't try over explain it. That's the main thing. Just have a start, middle, and end to your story, and you can take liberties with your story. Obviously don't change the core of your story. Your story still needs to be true, otherwise people are just not going to connect with it, and you're not going to feel very honest doing that either. So you want to keep your videos true, but don't be afraid to kind of embellish them here and there for very obvious jokes. I wonder if I can think of an example in one of my own videos. For instance, the video I did, Rebound and Let Down, there was a scene where the character of Mia walks into the room and all of us are fucking jaw drops on the floor, and she was gorgeous and everybody in the room was like, oh my god, she's so amazing looking. That section of the story was slightly embellished because maybe out of the 5 or 6 lads that were there that night, only 2 or 3 of us actually found her all that interesting. And it wasn't that scene straight out of a movie where she walked in and we all went, oh, that's amazing. It was just a case of she kind of showed up, and we all kind of eventually started paying attention to her, kind of going, Jesus, your one's not too bad now at all, is she? And you're like, who? And you turn around and you're like, Jesus, she's not bad at all. It's that kind of way, but it's the way you kind of structure it, and then you can lead it up to the joke where it's calling dibs. In that video, I didn't actually call dibs in that manner where I just put up my hand and went dibs and everyone said fuck at the same time. I did call dibs, but I just went, I was in a little circle of mates and I just went, okay, I'm calling dibs on that one. And they're just like, yeah, bollocks. You can kind of embellish little things like that to kind of make a punchline. And as long as it's for a joke and it's clearly for the joke, people will enjoy that. But just try not to make anything up. Don't try and tell a false story. That's the main thing you want to take away. Feel free to embellish, but don't tell a false story. Loadout asks, what made you want to start podcasts? Not sure if this was answered or not, but I'd really like to hear it. Well, to be honest, it was just a wanting to kind of relax and let my hair down a little bit. Kind of let the audience get to know me a little bit better too. Because I feel like as well as my stories do, or as good as a job as my stories do for kind of letting you get to know me, that's still highly edited and filtered. So I guess I just wanted to kind of let people see what goes on behind the camera, so to speak, who the person actually is. As well as that, censoring myself on YouTube an awful lot. I don't like that. Even from the very first day I started censoring my YouTube videos, I hated it, but it was necessary in order to make any money because I was getting absolutely shafted every single time I uploaded with fucking demonetization. Still am from the start, as you know, from the start of this podcast. But I just wanted to let my hair down and be able to curse to and with my audience, as well as I wanted to talk with the boys. As a lot of people were interested in, meeting the lads I talk about in my videos as well, and I thought a podcast was probably the best thing for that. I had thought about doing like let's plays and stuff like that, but talking while I'm gaming, I just can't do it. But I can just talk to another person one-on-one, so yeah. That, and I wanted to change the pace, something different to be doing as well at the same time, so, I'm not just fucking bashing the same button in my brain. It's like video. No, I can actually do podcasts, and it kind of breaks up the monotony a small bit. Edge0626 asks, judging from your videos, you seem to be a pretty masculine dude. How do you feel about the state of masculinity throughout the world? Do you think that things like toxic masculinity exist? And do you think something like this is needed in the world of being a man? If so, /not, why? I suppose personality-wise, I'm certainly a very masculine dude. I'm not fucking shoulder to shoulder with raw muscle by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, I suppose you're not wrong. I'm fairly kind of masculine in kind of how I carry myself and how I approach things. Toxic masculinity is bullshit in my eyes. I'm just going to be blunt. It's horseshit. Toxic masculinity is just... It's a word used by typically fucking militant feminists for masculine behaviour that I don't like. That's pretty much what that means. It's how can masculinity be toxic? It's just a different type of behaviour. It's because different sexes do have different behaviours. Females tend to be more in touch with their emotions. They're a lot more caring and considerate. Females are a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? Females are a lot more likely to cry. And that's not an outlandish statement. They are. It's true. Different sexes do different things. Men are much more likely to do high risk jobs. Some would say that's toxic masculinity, But the thing with all that kind of culture with like social justice warriors and fucking militant feminists or misandrists would be a better description is in the real world, nobody gives a fuck what they think. Your normal average Joe, your normal average reasonable human being does not think masculinity is toxic, and they never have and they never will. A lot of this stuff is just people fucking picking a side online so the general public views them in a positive light, because God forbid you'd have a differing opinion to what seems right, so that's what a lot of it. But in the real world, none of this applies. It's just a bunch of fucking petulant children screaming into a fucking barrel. That's what that is. Nobody gives a fuck about toxic masculinity or manspreading or mansplaining or anything like that. It's not really a problem. Like in the real world, it's not really a problem. It's just one of these like fucking made up problems that you only ever find on the internet. So does toxic masculinity exist? I say no. What does exist is arseholes. They come in a wide variety of options. You get them. You can get a straight, a gay, a male, a female. Any variety of the letters of the alphabet that make up the LGBT nowadays. You get arseholes in every fucking walk of the line. Like you can blame it toxic masculinity. It's not toxic masculinity. It's just sometimes you get men that behave like arseholes. That doesn't mean their masculinity is being toxic. No, that just means they're being arseholes. Their masculinity is not to blame for that. That's just a person. But 9 times out of 10, it's just misandrists not liking a particular trait of men and sticking a title on it that can get other people on board, even though it is actually bullshit. If you want my advice as a man, just, behave exactly how you'd like to behave. Behave exactly like how you'd like other people to behave around you. And don't worry about whether you're being fucking masculine or fucking feminine, being edgy or tame. Just fucking be yourself. It's fucking cliched out the arse, but yeah, don't give any fucking thought to any kind of toxic behaviour you might be doing. If you think you're being a reasonable person, chances are you probably are. Right, can I find one more question and I'm going to wrap this up, because I have some writing to do that I've been putting off for about a week. I don't have a good reason. I'll give you one if I had one, but I don't. And for the last one, Mr. Zimbabwe asks, which video would you make today and which video ideas did you scrap halfway through making them? Or which video would I remake today? Sorry, I misread that. Remake. I've often thought about remaking my very first video, the glasses one, but it's just, I don't, excuse me, I'm fucking flaming to death apparently. But no, I don't. The thing that stops me is I see that as like almost like a time capsule. It's where I started, and if I like remade that, I feel like I would be doing I'd be doing it a disservice. I like having it stand the way it is, like that little flash moment in time, that video that shows off to the world that no, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing immediately when I started uploading. I had to learn this shit as I went, and I made a lot of fucking very stupid mistakes. You go back and look at my first video. I don't know why, but my hands and my legs, particularly my legs, are like floating away from my body. Like I don't know what, they're not even connected. And like I can't even tell you why. Looking back at it now, why? And I remember when I recorded that video, I thought my voice sounded like really natural. I was listening back and I was like, yeah, I'm coming across really nicely there. Yes, it's fucking brilliant. Spot on, Finton. But listen to it now. No, you can tell I was very uncomfortable and awkward on the voice. But I feel like if I remade any of my past videos, I'd be just doing that video a disservice. And that's also time that I could easily spend on making a new video that people can fall in love with and enjoy and, forget about their shit day. So yeah, I hope that answers that. As for if I scrapped any video ideas, yes, fucking loads. I think I've wrote more scrapped videos than I have actual videos. I get like random bursts of motivation at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'll start a video idea that I think will be fantastic, and I'll fucking hammer out like half a script or, a few paragraphs and all that before turning in for the night. And then I'll wake up the next morning and I'll be like, what the fuck was I thinking? That was horseshit. And it just, the motivation is gone. And I was actually talking to a friend of mine, Garkin, he's actually the admin on my Discord server, about one of these ideas. But it's I had an idea before that I wrote at all hours, and it was the origin of pineapple pizza, and it was going to be a video spoofing the origins of pineapple pizza. I had this whole entire story made up. I think what I'll do actually, just to close out this video, is I'll read what I had so far on the script, which Garkin said it was quite funny, so you lot might enjoy it. So to close out this video, I'll read what I had in that script. I just gotta find it now. Yes, here it is. So so the title I have in this script was Why I Hate People Who Love Pineapple on Their Pizza. So I'm just gonna read you guys. I don't know if I'll go full video voice for this, but I'll read you what I have. Right, it's time to stop messing about and start tackling real world issues. Never mind cultural appropriation, feminism, gender, war, famine, or race. That's child's play. I could sort all that out in an evening half cut while fun things happen to my love pump. No, none of that easy stuff. I want a real challenge. And what better one is there than the one that has divided the internet since 2015? Yes, I'm sure all of you know about what I'm about to talk about today. Pineapple on pizza. Let's begin. So for those who have been living under a rock and somehow don't know about one of the bloodiest wars in recent history, let's roll it back to where the war first began. It all started with an Italian pizza chef who migrated to America in 2010. This was before those brown lads did that thing that resulted in Americans vetting their immigrants with a Dulux colour chart. His name was Willie Phelan, not to be confused with the well-known Chinese Panzers of 86, Fanny and Funny Phelan, who are currently serving 3 consecutive life sentences after being apprehended in a botched pantsing in 1994, wherein the victim, an 82-year-old Indian native, Ramit Inmi, had already dropped his pants in order to use the restroom, resulting in the couple at large bursting into the stall and yanking the man's trousers upwards, causing himself to soil himself. The resulting order of the incident then attracted authorities to the scene, where they were both arrested. Now, the Italian pizza chef Willie Phelan, being an avid fan of how Japanese people answered the telephone, settled in Ohio. Willie, the pizza chef being the unpredictable rebel that he was, opened a pizzeria and sold pizzas. Willie, not knowing the area very well, set up shop in the heart of disputed territory between rival fruit and vegetable based street gangs, best known for being the sister group of the Crips and Bloods, the Pits and Spuds. The Pits and Spuds constantly warred on the street. It was a veritable hell for the local residents, who were frequently caught in the crossfire of spud gun attacks, carrot shankings, and drive-by fruitings, or sometimes people were just straight up pulped to death in the streets. One day when Willie was at work just about to put a pizza into the oven, a stray pineapple from a drive-by fruiting burst through the window of his pizzeria, narrowly missing Willie's waitress, a 22-year-old Russian girl, Jenny Talia, and hit the wall behind her, sending pineapple chunk shrapnel throughout the restaurant. Yep, that's pretty much where it ends. I'm sorry, it was a bit anticlimactic, but that's pretty much exactly where I stopped writing it. And I must have went to bed and just never came back to it. But there you go, just a sneak peek into a script I never finished. Maybe I will one day, who knows. But yeah, I think that comes from a time where I was a bit more experimental with my channel and just wanted to poke some fun. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that little look behind the scenes and a little conversation with me. If you want to see more of these where it's just me and my own, I probably will do them more frequently. We see how the reception goes. If you want to tell me how you enjoyed the podcast, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, and of course I'm on YouTube. Thanks for watching, listening. I keep saying watching. Thanks for listening. And I will catch you lads and ladies in the next one.